Morning beeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, before we talk what next for Errol Spence Jr. after that defeat on the weekend, let's have a quick look and see if there's any other news to discuss. Let's start with this one. Fraser Clarke warns Tyson Fury to avoid catastrophic scenario of being clipped by Francis Ngannou. Yeah, he's right. I mean, Jesus Christ, I can't even imagine if that were to happen. Look, Ngannou can hit. I mean, if you follow his MMA career like I have, you know that's one thing this guy can do is hit. Go and watch his knockout of Alistair Overeem. I mean, this guy clearly has power in those hands, but his boxing ability is not there. So if Tyson Fury just plays this one safe rather than entertains the crowd, then he should win this one comfortably. If he tries to have a firefight with Ngannou, who himself is a big guy. I mean, this guy walks around 280, 290. He has to cut down to the UFC heavyweight limit of 265 pounds. He's what, 6'5", 6'6", so he's not going to get bullied. So if Tyson Fury wants to try and have a firefight with him, good luck. Frank Warren, if Daniel Dubois catches Usyk, he won't know what hit him. When is that fight again? I feel like that is approaching fast. Let's have a quick look. Alexander Usyk, 36. I'm going to do my pound for pound top 10, maybe straight after this. It'll be interesting to see where I put Usyk. That fight is the 26th of August. So what's that, 3 and a bit weeks? Look, I don't think Daniel Dubois has much of a chance. I mean, look, he's got a chance because he's a big guy and he's a heavyweight. But I think Alexander Usyk is very, very special. I think he still has his sights set on Tyson Fury. Not that he's overlooking Daniel Dubois, but he still wants that undisputed fight, which could happen early 2024. Look, obviously, if Dubois hits him, then Dubois has got a chance. But, I mean, I saw AJ land clean a few times and didn't really do much. So, we'll see. We'll see what Daniel Dubois can do. Furman calls out Crawford. Furman has no fear, baby. I'm not flat-footed like Spence. Spence was a bit flat-footed, wasn't he? He was a bit. I don't know if Furman is any better. I don't think Furman's exactly Muhammad Ali on his feet, but I don't know. I mean, look, there's not that many options for Crawford, you know. Again, I spoke about this yesterday when doing the What Next for Crawford video. 154 pounds. Jermell Charlo's obviously tied up with Canelo. Do you want to do the rematch with Errol Spence? Probably is worth a lot of money. So maybe Jaron Ennis. I mean, there's been some talk about him going to 160. There aren't that many big fight options out there. Keith Thurman was a unified welterweight champion. He's still somewhat of a name. I don't think it will be Keith Thurman. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. But look, I think Thurman will get absolutely destroyed. But, I mean, Thurman has got some big wins, albeit a very, very long time ago. Artur Beterbiev's ring return could get pushed until November at the earliest. What was it? A jaw infection. I don't know how that's come about. Was that a cut in sparring? I've no idea how that's happened, but it is a shame. I don't know what happens now. I mean, I guess if you're Callum Smith, you just wait, right? You just wait and you wait until you can't wait, and then maybe you ask Matchroom to kind of push you in another direction. Obviously, Matchroom have their links with Dimitri Bivol, who, again, we're still waiting to see if there's an announcement about him fighting. I think there is one coming soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's Vosdik. But if it isn't, then I guess you could do Callum Smith Bivol. I know there is mandatories and there's things in the way here, but if you're Callum Smith, you don't want to just sit and wait for Beterbiev. Beterbiev's had these injuries in the past, and this is another one. It's a fight I'm upset about because it's a fight I really wanted to see, but hopefully we get to see that one sooner rather than later. Shakur Stevenson in awe of Terence Crawford. He's the effing greatest. I mean, if you're Shakur, and, you know, some people might sort of look at that and think, all right, just calm down. But if you're Shakur and you've been in and around that camp for a number of years and you've seen Terence Crawford work, you know what you're watching. I mean, Shakur famously told that story to, who did he tell it to again? I can't remember, but he spoke about the fact that he'd, you know, just come out of the Olympics. He thought he was shit hot, that he could fuck everyone up, and then he got in the ring with Crawford, and Crawford just put a beating on him. And if you're a young kid coming through and you know you've been putting beatings on everyone else, and then someone puts a beating on you, you're gonna look at that. You're gonna look at that guy almost godlike, and I think that's the way he looks at Terence Crawford. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what next for both, by the way, Crawford and Shakur Stevenson. Tommy Fury, very confident of knocking out KSI in Manchester. He has to be. He has to be, and he must be a big favourite as well. Like, respect KSI for the journey he's been on, but Tommy Fury is a real boxer. I think we saw that against Jake Paul, and he's so much bigger. Like, so much bigger. Like, these guys are almost 2 different weight classes apart. So I don't know if there's going to be any rehydration caps in here or anything. But yeah, not quite sure how KSI goes about beating Tommy Fury. I'm not. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz is going to be on ESPN Plus. I like the fact that DAZN is working with ESPN. I do feel like these bridges need to be built again. I feel like they were burnt and they need to be built again quickly. Yeah, I just feel like that needs to happen. I fly out in about 4 hours for that one. I'm presenting that show. We've got so many shows in the lead up to it. I'm doing like an MMA hour with Ariel Hawani on Wednesday. What day is it today? Wednesday. Thursday, I'm doing the press conference with Ariel. Friday, I'm doing the weigh-ins. And Saturday, obviously, showtime. So, yeah, I need to get this video done because we need to pack and get out of it. All right, let's talk about what next for Errol Spence. After that, tough defeat. I was doing a video just now with Gareth A. Davis, and I just asked him the question, as much as we're applauding, and rightly so, Terence Crawford, is there a bit of disappointment with Errol Spence's performance? And I was kind of, as I'm asking the question, in my head I'm saying no, but in hindsight, there probably is a little bit. Again, that was billed as a 50-50 scrap. Errol Spence, you guys know his record, unbeaten, unified welterweight champion, pound for pound, top 5 or top 6. We maybe expected a bit more. And that's not to take away from Crawford, who's clearly a genius, but maybe we expected just a little bit more from Errol. He dug deep, especially in the second round when he got put down. And then I think he might have won the third. He came out so aggressive. Still got tagged a few times, but he came out and showed his mettle, right? But maybe we expected just a bit more from Errol. But look, what next for Errol Spence? Ultimately, Errol wants the rematch. That's what he's asked for. He wants the rematch, and I think he wants it at 154 pounds. He might feel he's owed the rematch. In a sense, he threw Terence Crawford a bone here. And people might say, well, one second, Terence is, a champion himself. Yes, but Errol didn't have to go down the Terence Crawford route, right? He was the one that initiated this fight. He reached out to Crawford, or they reached out to each other, and they kind of got this fight done themselves. So he might feel like, Terence, you owe me one. I kind of helped you out here. You've made a lot of money. You owe me one now. This isn't about owing someone a fight. This is about, will people want to see the rematch? And I'm not quite sure. Like, I didn't get any sense after the fight that anyone was wanting to see a rematch, even if it is at a higher weight class. I think people thought, okay, if there is a rematch, it plays out exactly how it plays out again. And I tend to think that will happen as well. I know Errol will be a lot bigger and hopefully a lot healthier, 154 pounds, but I don't know if there's the want for it. But it almost might be forced upon us, because you look at the options for Errol, as I did with Terence yesterday, and there aren't that many options. There aren't that many. Let's just play devil's advocate and say he stays at 147. He won't, but let's play devil's advocate. What's out there? Jaron Ennis, potentially. Conor Benn, just throwing it out there, people. Don't shoot me down. We don't know what's going on with Virgil Ortiz. So those options are weak, right? They're not really there. 154 pounds, the person that has all the marbles at 154 pounds is booked, right? He's booked out for we don't know how long. He's fighting Canelo. And not only that, but he is best friends and stablemates with Errol Spence. Is Errol going to want to jump to 154 and not fight for a belt? I don't think so. I don't think he will. That being said, after that date, the Canelo Jamel date, the belts will become vacant. I do think the belts are going to get scattered. So Errol could fight for a vacant belt somewhere. You know how it works. He'll get his name up in the queue and he could fight for a vacant belt. He's a big name. So that could happen. I think the most likely thing here is a double jump. We've seen it before. I do think that there is a chance he says, you know what, let's skip 154. Let's have a long break, and he will have a long break. It'll take some time out of the ring because it was a bit of a beat, and you do need to heal from that, not just physically, but mentally. I think he might say, let's go 160. I think he might say, let's just jump to 160. Bear in mind, a lot of the talk in the build up to this fight was him fighting Canelo. There was so much talk. I said it, he said it, Canelo said it, everyone said it. That if he were to win this, he would go up and fight Canelo at a catch weight of 164 pounds. So clearly this guy walks around very, very big. And I feel like at this stage of his career, 33, again, look, if there was an option at 154, I'd say stay at 154. But if there isn't, why not try and go and fight some of the champions at 160? And you look at the champions here. Obviously, Jamal Charlo's done. And by the way, Jamal Charlo's belt could become vacant, you know. Jamal Charlo's belt could become vacant. He's not fought now for over 2 years. And I think you guys probably saw all what happened in Vegas. So I wonder if that belt becomes vacant. So that's the WBC. Remember, Golovkin had a lot of these belts. He's vacated. I'm guessing Golovkin is retired. So that's the WBC. The WBA belt is Lara. Erislandy Lara. Maybe not a big fight, but in terms of size, I mean, Lara ain't that much bigger than Errol Spence. He isn't. And Lara's very old as well. By the way, these aren't big fights. I'm just trying to give you options out here. The IBF belt, I didn't even know this guy had the belt, and that's Vincenzo Gualtieri. I mean, don't know. I don't even know about his skill base, so I'm not quite sure. Then the WBO is probably the number one in the division, Yanibek Alimkhanali. So those are the champions at 160. I mean, I don't know. There's not a big fight there, but I can almost see him jump in a couple of divisions to see if he can get one of these scalps. I could see it happening. Look, I think ultimately, as much as I've gone kind of around the houses here, I think ultimately he will fight Terence Crawford again at 154 pounds. I think it's the best option financially for both, and it's probably the best option out there because of Jamal Charlo and Canelo fighting at 100. Oh, Jamal Charlo having the belts at 154 and fighting Canelo. I think they're going to fight again. That's the answer here. One other final one before we wrap, and it's been put out there by a few people, and I actually disagree. You know me, normally I'm like, get in, get rich, get out. Not in this instance. I said some people, I think Stephen A. Smith said it, and a few other boxing Twitter pages said it as well, that Errol Spence should consider retirement. Just one defeat, man. I mean, I'm very squeamish about, come on, stay healthy. It's just one defeat. I think there's a lot left in Errol Spence. Again, I think you rest up, you heal up physically, mentally, emotionally, and you get back in there. You can't retire off the back of getting beat by Terence Crawford. That's not how it works. So I think there's more left in there. But it will be definitely 154 or maybe even 160. It certainly won't be at 168. Some people have said, will he do a triple jump? No. It won't be that. But I think it will be Terence Crawford again. And I think they'll fight early-ish next year. I don't think they'll wait too long. I don't think it will wait till May. I think they'll fight before that. And then we'll see what happens. That could be the last fight for both. I don't think it will, but it could be the last fight for both. And if you're Errol, you're going to have to think that you're going to fare better not having to cut all that weight. We'll see how it plays out. So the options, go to 160, 154 rematch with Terence Crawford, retire. 154 rematch with Terence Crawford. Peace and love.